Hello, dear students. This is our live lecture recorded in Gender Equality in Global Public Health. It is an elective of the Joint Master Global Public Health Master Course. This is a course between Deggendorf Institute of Technology and European Campus and Savonia University, Finland. Now, I would like to start with what is gender? Because this course is about gender equality, and now what could we understand when we talk about gender? And very important, when we talk about gender, this is male or female or others. And it is in general, when we can talk about gender in an economic content, social or cultural content. And we always will find some differences. And when we talk about gender equality, this means, the question is there really equality in economic, social or cultural issues? Okay, so this is very important to think about when we talk about gender. Now, you might have heard about gender equity, and now I'm talking about gender equality, and our course is called Gender Equality. And what is the difference? And why is it so important to have women empowered to reach gender equity and gender equality? Now, gender equity is, we talk about fairness between women and men. And this fairness is very hard to reach nowadays. And I'm not only talking about low and middle income countries or industrialized countries. Fairness between women and men is not reached yet, no matter where. Okay, so this is very important. Equality is not about fairness. It's equity is about fairness, and you will understand why. Now, gender equality means to allow a woman, and most of the times it's about women. I think that is nothing new, that when we talk about gender equality, we will not talk a lot about do men have the possibility to do the same things as women. This will hardly be a topic in any of the countries. It's most of the time it's women who have not the possibilities to do the same work, to have the same job, to earn the same money, and then even to get the same health care. And therefore, it's when we talk about gender equality and gender equity, very often we only talk about women equality. So this is important to understand. And the goal will be that women and men can fully participate as equal partners in daily life. And unless we have not reached that, we will have to continue talking about gender equality. Now, why is it so important to take gender concerns into account in program design and implementation? There are two reasons why it is so important. Now, first, we have a difference between the roles of men and women. And differences demand different approaches. I don't want to talk about making everything completely 100% equal, that between men and women. I think that is not our goal, and it should not be our goal. But there is a systematic inequality between men and women. And you will find a kind of pattern in every country, in every culture, that in many cases, women have an inferior access to resources and opportunities. And there will be not many countries, or I would say there is no country worldwide where you can say, oh, women are completely equal to men, to the possibilities, to the opportunities, or they are even inferior. This will not exist. So women are more or less underrepresented in decision-making processes, either in the society or in their own lives. In the society, that is when you look into politics, when you look into governments, how many women do you have at a decision-making level? And in their own lives, what are women allowed to do? Can they make their own decisions? I mean, we know countries and where women are even not allowed to leave their house, to go outside, to go to a coffee, to work. That is the worst what we as women can imagine. But sometimes it's like, is a woman allowed to drive a car? Is a woman allowed to have its own bank account? Is a woman allowed to decide whom to marry? Is a woman allowed to become president of a country? These are all questions which we often have to answer with no. And this is about gender equality. Now, it has also to do a lot, gender equality, with sustainable development. And it's it's a human right. Gender equality should be a human right. So we don't find that equality, and we should try to reach that women and men have the same power and the same influence, maybe not in every area of life, but they should both have the possibility to choose what they want. And they should, for example, at home, share the responsibility for children, and also work at home should be shared between men and women. And very important, violence. Violence at home is always a gender imbalance, because here again, we have most of the time it's the man who puts pressure on a woman. It exists also that women put pressure on men, and that shouldn't be possible either. So both should have the possibility to decide equally what they want and what they don't want. Now, it's also gender equality is about sexual and reproductive health. They both should have the possibility to decide what kind of contraceptive they use, how many children they want to have, at what time they want to have a child, and also for example, harmful practices like genital cutting should just not be decided from outside, but it should be the woman who should be able to decide if she wants it or not. Now, it is always, when you look into economy, into social life, women are very often deprived from from participation in economy and social life. And this makes them to be unequal. Now, big question, is gender equality a concern for men? And yes, of course it is. Because as long as men don't accept women to be equal, there will be no gender equality. And therefore, it is so important that men will accept gender equality. And why isn't it like that? I mean, think about your cultural background. Where do you come from? How, what have men, which rights have men? And men, that is not only the husband or the father, it goes from husband to father to son. It always influences the next generation, how they learn and what they see, how to treat a woman. And when you look at some cultures, it's clear that it's only the father, the brother, or the son who tell or who allow women to take part in social life, for example. And so this is, therefore, it's so important that men are also involved in the discussion of gender equality. Now, of course, you could say, or we could say now, men have a lot of responsibility, and especially when we look to industrialized countries, it is often a burden for men to have all the responsibility. They have, if women are expecting them to earn money, to be successful in their job, and to have enough money to build a house, to have children. This is also something women have to learn, that they have to share the responsibilities and also earning money, for example, with men. And then it is, there will be gender equality. But very often women would like to do that in other cultures, and they are not allowed to do it. For example, can you imagine that women are not allowed to go, or girls are not allowed to go to school? But if you look in industrialized countries, it also, when you look at statistics, it also happens that there is a less chance for women to get a better education than boys. So even in industrialized countries, we have a difference between men and women and girls and boys when it comes to education. So education is always very important when we talk about gender equality, because only those people who learned, who understand what gender equality is, and they learn it, of course, at home from their parents, but they learn it also at school. And then they will improve gender equality when they learn it. So this was information was from UNFPA. That is it is a department of the UN, and they are much involved in gender equality. And we will hear later that the Sustainable Development Goals were also developed by the UN. And their gender equality is an important topic in the Sustainable Development Goals. And here we have an overview of the Sustainable Development Goals. We have number 1, 2, 3, up to 11, 16, and 17. But not all, so gender equality is also, it's number 5 here, is a sustainable development goal. And this image shows which other sustainable development goals, the so-called SDGs, are mainly connected or with other SDGs. So we have very important is no poverty, because if you have women who are very poor and or families who are very poor, it will always be hard to discuss about gender equality when you don't know where to get food from. Or it's also zero hunger. This is about food. And good health, SDG 3, very important. SDG 4, quality education, is also important, and so on and so on. And we will see all that in our next lectures. So thank you very much for today. And next lecture will also be recorded and available for you on Case.io. You can repeat this lecture. You can have a look at it and listen to it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.